I think since we already started late, then we can also finish early. So, welcome to the transformation track. My name is T. I'm the head of operational excellence at Siemens Digital Industries. I'm very honored to take you on a little journey of ours. Because maybe you have seen me, but that's not what I do.
The recipe for success for process mining in a complex organization like Siemens is to find the right people. And that's the prime example is really T. With his team, how they went around the world to really convince people saying, hey, this is the power of data, this is how you can improve your work with the digital fit rate and with transparency and authentication.
I think it's a fact that in our project, where we have now visited every country improved.
So that's not what I do every day, running around Manhattan Central Station, looking across. But it is a story and a journey nonetheless. And so today, you came here for digital transformation. But you know, honestly, I want to talk about food first. So as you saw in the trailer, me sitting with Alex in this restaurant, that's actually Ivan Ramen in Lower East Manhattan. But honestly, that was just to get you warmed up a little bit. Let's not just talk about food. Because this guy is Anton Ego from the Pixar movie, and he's an influencer. He's a food critic, and he talks about this and that. But that's not the story today. Because we are here to create, to co-create and share things. So, welcome to the chef's table. And to give you a little bit about context about what I do in our company, I promise just one slide and then we're done with it. So, Siemens, 172 years old company. I've spent 10% of that 172 years for that company. I've moved 14 times around the world in 7 factories, in 5 different countries, but, which I'm very proud of, it's still my first and foremost employer, that I'm part of Siemens after 17 years. And these days, I'm responsible for pricing, quotation, and regional order management, which basically means offer to order, order to cash. And one of our programs is called Order Management for Tomorrow. Because we all know that tomorrow looks different, and contemplating about how the future looks like is irrelevant. The question is, what are we doing today to give a better future for everyone involved? So yes, it is about automating our back office processes in the regions. It's about reducing manual rework and improving our processes overall, and hopefully get some productivity in terms of euros out of it. That's what my job is. And before I can tell you actually about the project, please have the courage to go with me on a journey for 2 prologues. So before I will actually start what Siemens does in digital transformation, I need to get you all on the right page first. Because, like every story, it starts with a beginning. And our beginning can be found in Charles Dickens' A Tale of Two Stories, one of the world famous novellas. And the beginning goes as such. It was the best of times, it was the worst of times. It was the age of wisdom, it was the age of foolishness. And this sentence was written 160 years ago, and it is so relevant than ever before. And therefore, this story I want to tell you is not this kind of story, which you probably know already, which you have heard 1,000 times. There comes a person with lots of expertise, hopefully from a multinational corporation, and he tells you what he did, how he did that, and then is going to show you the proof that he was successful. This is called teaching by example. That's the reference case, the benchmark, the case study. And even that it is true that we have reduced millions of manual activities, that we have applied state-of-the-art process mining technology to have incredible savings in our organization, it's true, but it's also truly boring. Because by tomorrow you will forget 50% of what I said. So I need to get you to the right mindset, and I can only do that if I tell a different kind of story. Still the true story. And the story goes as that. I need to change the expertise, the logic, and the proof by empathy, suspense, and surprise. And then the story goes as such. When I started with my new responsibility to improve our processes on a global scale, I basically wet my pants. I was overwhelmed. Can that actually even be possible, what I've been asked and tasked to do? But on this journey, I found new friends, and I found new followers who gathered the necessary courage to join me on that journey. And we found out something very simple, which really changed the way we do business today. And that is called learning by inquiry. So today is not the story of answers. Today is the story of questions. And the best thing, you can do it as well. Everyone can join us in this movement. The prologue number 2. As I mentioned, I need to hijack you once more. The furthest distance a lot of us in this room will ever go in our lives is a couple inches from the head to the heart. So even that I got the right mindset, I now need you to get into the right heart set. And to do that, I will actually show you my friend David Katz, who is the founder of the Plastic Bank, an organization which is focusing on alleviating extreme poverty and cleaning up the ocean from plastic pollution at the same time. And I will show you a 2-minute clip, and then I will tell you how it is relevant to the story I'm going to tell.
What was it that I heard? Where did I hear it from? Who whispered it? And it wasn't the idea. It was the knowing that I only needed to become. And that life was not about being, but becoming. And that the journey truly is the destination.
When I had the idea, May the 11th, 2013, now of course I remember the day, because it was just so big. Not only did I have the idea, this knowing that if we turned plastic into money, that could be a part of change. Because the poor will never throw away money. What if we could turn it into cash?
You know, we can see it in drug addicts who think of the next hour or next few hours, or the abject poor who have no food. And we can see it in workers who are beginning or emerging. They look at their paycheck 2 weeks. We look perhaps at other management that looks at the end of the year, or we look at the Warren Buffetts and the Bill Gateses who look at decades in the future. And there is an association between wealth and time perspective. And those who can see into the future are much more likely to achieve wealth and abundance. And he was able to go from seeing today to seeing 15 years. And so I knew that in him we ended poverty. We absolutely ended poverty in the family.
And the 3 messages I want to take out of this 2-minute clip, and I promise you, the prologue number 1 and the prologue number 2, I will connect them into a wholesome story later. In the prologue 2, it is not about the destination, but the journey itself. And not everyone can be like David, but a person like David truly can come from anywhere. And we need to value and have a new definition of what it means to be wealthy around how much I can look optimistically into the future and not about the things I own. And then, if you understand this, you will have a much easier time to understand the soul of process mining. So, without further ado, let's talk a little bit about process mining, how we implemented it in Siemens, and I guess by now everybody knows what process mining is. So forgive me for the next 80 seconds where I explain process mining using my own example. So, we have different activities. We are back in the kitchen, chopping vegetables, grilling meat, and steaming vegetables, where a blue hexagon represents the activity. We all know that. But what if I want to go a little bit deeper and see the other kind of activities? Turn up the microscope, I see there are also different kind of activities around. Stir-fry vegetables, and so on. What have you not? And I can also see what are the different relationships, what comes first, what comes after. And then maybe here I can already spot, that's strange. Chopping vegetables and grilling meat has a different time than grilling meat and then chopping vegetables. And I can continue on that by really increasing the level, seeing all activities, seeing all connections. Yay, spaghetti. And in each and every activity, I can zoom in and also remember that I have all additional metadata for that as well, like the producer, the price, the calories, when I peel tomatoes. I know also the relationships, and that's it. I know the what, I know the when, and since things can happen at the same time, also a unique time zone. And that is process mining in 78 seconds. And if you do this, over 130 terabytes of data, then you are at Siemens. Then you're looking at over 116 billion euros. You're looking over 46 million different line items, 272 million activities, and each and every activity has over 150 different data fields. 21 systems, 90 countries. We have each and every price changed by whatever customer in whichever country for whichever material number in our hands with one click. And that is a transparency beyond imagination. It allows us to really answer questions we didn't even dare to ask yet. And the great thing is it works everywhere. Not only in order to cash, it works in the factory, it works in our purchase to pay, in logistics, in finance, everywhere. It's the same principle we apply. One question, though, we couldn't answer yet. This transparency, who cares? That's a question we cannot answer. So is process mining not about transparency? I know what it is. It's productivity. It's about automation. Well, yes and no. Because we don't do automation just for the sake of automation. Yeah? And I think that Elon Musk here really made a really great point that excessive automation can be a mistake, but it also showed him that humans are underrated. And then we had the epiphany. If you go back to our picture, transparency beyond imagination, it's exactly wrong. It's exactly the opposite. It's that imagination goes beyond any transparency. And here already is the key to everything. Here is the key to unlocking digital transformation. In my work, I have to get rid of manual rework, that human touch. But if I focus and put into the center the human and his or her abilities, which in the past, today, and tomorrow will be better than any machine. If we focus on creativity, imagination, intuition, empathy, and all of these things, then we can truly make some change. But there's a nuance to it. I don't believe that I could inspire you, that you have this tomorrow when you go into work, or that you have rules in your organization which force you to focus on creativity and imagination. I truly believe that's only technology that enables us to rediscover our humanity. As ironic as it sounds, only through the use of technology I can become human again, because I can focus on the things which make me better than any machine. And that's it. Because if you really have that kind of mindset and heart set, you start doing things differently with all the courage and all the competence you need. When I started my project, I had over 10 people, very, very experienced people with pretty high pay grades. And I said, I can't make global change that way. So what we said is, I found 2 colleagues from the regional order management who did that every day. And I really released that team, and we were only 3 people. 3 people. And we said, let's go on a journey. We will visit the entire world of our lead countries. We can actually make it also kind of cool and put them into sprints to see how many sprints do we need to visit all countries. And it took us 1 year. And in this 1 year, we really went with process mining technologies to the end users at the very, very bottom of organization. And it was not about teaching, it was not about answers, and it was not about the tone from the top. It was about learning, questions, and together. And with each and every visit, with each and every sprint, we have become so performant that every country in the next following sprint was already inheriting all of that knowledge, what we have already discovered together with the organization. And we created a movement where people were really following this good vibe. The question only always, how do you measure that? You can't just say everyone is happy and we are really thankful for the visits. How do you measure that? How do you measure process performance? And we said we need to have a new KPI. And that was the birth of the digital fit rate. And the digital fit rate is so simple because it just counts the manual activities and divides it by the number of line items. So if you have, for example, a digital fit rate of 1.0 with 100 line items, it means every line item you touch once. And if it is smaller, then it's better because it's less touches. And if it's higher, you have many more manual interventions. And yes, we have a digital fit rate by country, by business unit, by portfolio. Not a problem. And it is really important that I actually elaborate here a little bit on this KPI, because as you know, every square is also a rectangle, but not every rectangle is a square. So don't tell me that you also have KPIs. I know you have KPIs, but for me, they're only metrics. If you really truly talk about the KPI, you only need one, and everyone understands it, from the CFO up to everyone in the organization. And that's what we do. Everyone in our organization understands the digital fit rate and its impact, its meaning, and its definition, because it must truly be simple if you want to really adopt it. And then this message, we really spread. We made it absolutely open book, and we shared it on our social media internally, with wiki pages, with our Scrum approach, Agile. Yes, we all have all of these things as well. But it was open booked. We recorded our training session, we uploaded it to our video platform to have everyone participate on that. And then magic happens, because a participant suddenly becomes a co-creator. We have a wiki page, and it's not that somebody's asking a question and I'm answering them, but people ask questions and other people I don't even know are going to answer for other people. Is it on their job profile? No, it's not. But this is a movement. It's not about money. and then you do it on a global level, then you can achieve this kind of impacts, where you really increase automation by 24%, manual rework by 11%, and have 10 million fewer manual touches than before. And that really is the proof that it can work to have this kind of courage. So let me actually go a little bit on a sidetrack behind the kitchen. So just bear in mind, this is going to be in the next 4 or 5 minutes, a little bit more technical, but I also know that some people are more interested in what's really going on behind the scenes. So the first concept I really need to talk to you about it is the new meaning of standardization. Standardization does not mean that we all have to eat the same. It's not also even about an a la carte menu where you configure things and everyone is happy. Standardization means enabling the choice because not everyone is forced to eat the same. And it's a different mindset. I eat meat, but if I want to eat salad at the buffet, so be it. And tomorrow I can go back to meat. It's not about the same outcome. It's about the same mindset of allowing people to participate in a co-created space. This is what standardization means to me. And that means if you are starting on your journey, we are following a design principle which I created, which really says absolutely zero filtering of data before you do anything in Celonis. Zero filter. Because otherwise you rob your people of creativity. I also do zero data mapping, translation, or conversion. If you have 500 document types and your management can't handle a pie chart with 500 slices, that's their problem. It's reality nonetheless. No data mapping, no translation. Take reality as it is, and yes, it definitely hurts a lot. The process, the blue hexagon, is focusing on the context, not on the content. Sometimes you feel like, I don't want to talk about change price. Let's actually talk about increase price, decrease price. No, leave that to the metadata. Take the activity as it is in the context, but not the content. If you have an IT service application, don't talk about change status from in progress to completed. Just say change progress. And then you have a loop of 5 times because you changed maybe 5 different statuses. What kind of status you have in the data? Because then, if you have self-defined activities, as my last point here, you will understand that it's enough to have only these 5-6 tables. Of course, you can't read it, but I'm willing to share. And this 5-6 tables is the only data model I have for entirety of Siemens on O2C. Nothing else. No customization, no configuration, no nothing. This is standardization because we focus to unleash the creativity. This is it. And to make it really, really clear, it does not only work for the entirety of Siemens, but it works for every company in the world who is using SAP. In 5 minutes. Because if you do that kind of standardization, you can unleash your creativity, and it looks like that. Let's assume I'm selecting 21 million line items. I have my nice KPI, the digital fit rate. I see the activities and all these different kind of metrics. But you know what? I also want to see the progress. So I didn't change anything in the selection. Now I show my 21 million items by month. Great, if I want to track the progress. And let's assume I'm part of a global process office who is having to make a view onto the entire world. Here you got it. It's our world by countries. One line is one country. With some clicks, I didn't change the selection, but I can see commonalities, and I can also bring people together. Say, hey, did you know that this kind of household struggle with that topic? Did you know that you actually can automate this? And if that is not enough, I can even go onto a customer level. I don't know how many countries we have in Siemens, but I definitely know that we have more customers than countries. And the picture more or less looks the same. Because we don't filter data, we allow everything. So process mining is transparency beyond imagination, but if you're creative, imagination goes before, and that is Siemens, because that is ingenuity for life. Here it is. I shared with you, I have no problem. 5 lines of code, that's a digital fit rate, nothing else. Take your pictures. And I know you could have also written it in 2. That's fine. But that's the digital fit rate. And why does it work? It works because we have the mindset of focusing on the people for their creativity and not on the technical part, but we understand that the technical part is necessary nonetheless. And therefore, to summarize our project, we have the focus and the right competences in our project program called Order Management for Tomorrow. We have a transparency platform, Celonis, order to cash out of the box. But in order to drive not only the transparency but the performance, we implemented the digital fit rate. And that basically is having a lot of fun. So, this was it? Or was it? Can't be that, no? It's not. Second part. We want to go, and I have to have an epilogue. What is it truly about? So bear with me another 5-6 minutes, and then I also will do a small question round. But I said that I would connect everything together. So let me connect the things together. Value to the person fighting for more revenue every day to make the customer happier. By the use of technology to then look into the future without having to handle avoidable topics. That's wealth. That's value. To be thinking ahead further on how can I satisfy my customer. That's value. And if you have a book, a big book, and you miss 1 comma, I can assure you it's still a great book. But if you are missing just 1 comma in the rocket start sequence, people will die. And I don't want to be that army general knocking at the door to the widow and saying, your son is a hero, he died because of a comma and a detail. I don't think that's right. And it is really our job to understand that in many cases 80% is okay. 80% in Google Translate is okay. And you see the German word der Hahn, Google Translate made a quite good attempt on telling me it's a water tap, a rooster, and a male genitalia. That's fine. We still understand it. But I have an 8-year-old daughter, and I would never send her in a self-driving car, which is 99% okay. We need to understand there are things where we need 5, 6, 7, 8 digits after the comma. And in closing, this is what I wanted to tell you. Charles Dickens' Tale of Two Cities is actually a tale of two mindsets. And we have a PowerPoint layer, and we have a process working layer. And yes, we need to talk about digital business, electronic ordering, perfect orders, digital fit rate 0.0, automated billing. But we must not forget there are people in our organization every day knowing each and everything you see popping up here. And they know it well, and they are not hurt. Because if you talk about automated billing, and in your organization there's nobody who understands RV60 SBAT, then it's gonna fail. Then your digital transformation is going to fail. And to come back to David, and not everybody can be David, but these heroes can come from anywhere. Like in my case, with these 2 young ladies, which I found in the regional company, who went on the journey with me. But don't be sad. Don't be sad that you can't be a hero and that everyone can be a hero. Everyone can be a true leader. Because I understand there is nothing more painful than losing the control over something you never had control over to begin with. But you can be a true leader by finding, supporting, and following your heroes. Be the first follower. Have the courage to say, I know nothing, but I know that you know, and I trust you, I have compassion. You can do so. And therefore, in closing, many people know the beginning of Charles Dickens' book, but not many people know actually the end. But I can truly say that it is a far, far better thing that I do than I've ever done before. And it is a far, far better rest that I go to than I've ever known. And so, please keep in mind that this story is not about me leading a very successful project. Moreover, it is about finding your true heroes who went with me onto this journey, who had the courage to be crazy and started a movement. But the true essence of this story is that it is not a question of top-down versus bottom-up, as we have heard many times today. But let me put it very clear, Siemens style. You must do it top-down and bottom-up at the same time, find your middle ground, and do top-down only context and bottom-up only content. So with this, I would really like to thank you for your active attention. And then let's give it up to the true heroes, which is our leadership in Siemens, who provided that context by their courage and compassion of Judith and Maria, and of course the movement itself. Let's give a hand clap. All right, thank you. I think we can have a small question round.